Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Talisker 11-Year-Old, the 2022 Diageo special release. Dustin, you're able to pick this one up for us. We continue to give Talisker special releases a try. Some are misses, some are hits.
Yeah.
They're all over the place. 55.1% ABV. What else can you tell us about it?
So this is from their lightest peated ex-bourbon reserve. So last year was their peatiest. This year they've gone the other direction. Friend of mine kept hyping this one up and kept telling me I need to pick it up for the vanilla notes that came through, and I finally said, all right, I'll buy it.
The eights were a mixed bag, were they not, Dustin? They went from great to
epic,
awful,
terrible
to
mediocre.
They were all over
That
the place.
15 was really good, though.
15 was good, though.
Yep. And you poured these heavy, buddy.
I did. Forgive me.
Mike's expecting a little greatness, apparently.
Yeah, it's been a while since we had a drink, so figure get into it.
Yeah. This has been open. I want to say this because this has been left at your house for a little while, Mike. I think it's been open now long enough for it really to have had a chance to surprise me and be a little different from the last pour I had.
Yeah, I had a sip of it last week. All right, so I recognize it as Talisker, but almost on the nose, it feels like watered-down Talisker, if that makes any sense. I've never had a lightly peated Talisker, but for those of you that are fans of the distillery, think of the creamy, buttery, peppery notes, absolutely diminished as far as its intensity.
I get creamy and buttery. I don't get pepper at all.
Usually in Taliskers.
Oh, no, I'm just saying like here. I get creamy and buttery. I get no pepper here on this one.
I get those three things, exactly.
Well, like I said, one thing I'm missing here is pepper. To me, it's Talisker at its heart, no pepper. Mm-hmm. Which the 15 actually was pretty light in that pepper note.
I agree. It's more substantial here. You'll get there. Yeah, but all those things are there. So I guess I always kind of thought those things were in the peatier notes, but really I guess it's just the distillery characteristic.
Yeah, and I'm starting to pick up that sweetness at the end that Talisker always has. I don't know if it's like a wormwood thing they do, or I forget the way there's what's specific and special about the Talisker malting process. I know there's something, and it always hits me with a really nice kind of funky, fruity, chewy sweetness at the end. And I'm picking that up on the nose.
It's becoming more coastal for me now.
I mean, there's some coastal, but it's almost like, if this makes any sense, Mike, you ever been to a freshwater beach?
I don't think so, but maybe.
Like Chicago.
Oh, okay. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess.
So, freshwater beach. This smells more like it's from fresh water, but like the sand's there. I'm not really getting the sea salt.
Getting a little.
I'm almost getting like, I'm thinking it's salty because somebody, next to me, had something salty. I don't know.
This almost feels like a slightly disjointed, a little bit messy version of the 10-year-old at cask strength.
I'm getting some slightly sour notes from the oak, making me think, definitely refilled a few times. Maybe some of these casks were past their prime.
Still not getting any pepper?
I mean, if you keep saying it, I'll make the comment of like white pepper maybe, but really, I'm not getting Talisker pepper at all.
I am.
I mean, there's a spice, but to me, I was thinking that was the ex-oak. I'm not getting any of that Talisker, because Talisker pepper spice is very, like I think of it as like very large flake pepper notes. This just doesn't have that.
Peppercorn. Ooh.
Yeah.
Man, it is. When I said it was watered and spread out on the nose, on the palate, it's not that at all. Bang. Good ABV, driving the experience initially. Pepper, spice, a little bit of like a butter oil. And then on the finish, you said slightly peated. Man, it is a good little wallop of smoke on the end in this finish, for sure. Not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Mostly driven by the ABV, I would imagine. And right now it's subsiding pretty hard, so it's a little bit insubstantial for the long haul, but at least initially, good sharp kiss. Mm-hmm. A little bit of citrus here on the end too.
I was going to say sour oak, but yeah, it's a citrusy sour oak. I get like sand, like it's kind of like sandiness to it. Like it's like the oak kind of like like I guess you kind of grind it down on the oak cask a little bit. Got a little bit of like sawdust in there.
Okay.
So to me, it just comes off kind of sandy. Mm-hmm. Good sweetness up front. I keep looking for like distinct vanilla, but I don't want to. It doesn't quite get to like a really distinct heavy vanilla. It's more of like a kind of generic fruit. A little bit of sourness that comes all the way through, and then just kind of a hints of little light sweetness. Peat for sure, Mike. You nailed that. But I think we've had a Springbank 15 today. That to me came off peatier.
Smokier.
Smokier for sure. I think that one was peatier too. This is not heavy. The peat's here. Like, they didn't get rid of it. Talisker didn't go peat free, but it's coming off like a 10 ppm whiskey at best.
It comes off a little more substantial for me. With water, it comes off sweeter. Tell you what, this water actually really opened up the sweetness. You would think with 55.1 being young whiskey, it can handle some water. Mm-hmm. And I know you were saying, sand before and a few other things, and I was saying I was getting some coastal elements. I want to dig down a little bit more on what I'm thinking. Dry clamshells.
Interesting. Okay.
And now the salt and pepper are there big time.
I can't even smell the whiskey after adding water. Like, it's just gone to very, very generic light sweetness.
It has definitely gotten sweeter with water.
The tasting it, because nosing it's not a waste of time right now.
I tell you what, the vanilla's here too. I didn't really get vanilla at first, but with water, the vanilla's here. Vanilla butter. Man, I tell you what, buddy, this smells like so much pepper, and I have a good wall of smoke in the background. Now, I'm not going to say it's as peated or as smoky as the 10 or the 18 or the 25s, but it's here.
I'm getting none of this.
Completely disagree.
I'm still not getting heavy vanilla. It is sweeter now. Still getting more of that. It's become more sour and less sandy. Finish it's like an interesting oaky, sour. There is a coastal thing going on in that finish. Clams or something. Yeah, I mean, like some kind of fish. I'm with you there. It's some kind of like coastal fishiness.
I said dry clams.
Yeah.
Dry clams, fish that's skeletal and laying out for weeks. All right, going back in with water. It's sweeter with water. The peat and the smoke subsided on the finish, even though it came up more on the nose with water. When you have it with water on the palate, it's almost dissipated to nothing. As a matter of fact, the only thing I would really say about the palate with water that's even good is its nice initial sweetness. Everything else that I liked about the palate is completely gone with water.
It killed the oiliness, which I didn't mention earlier, but this comes off very nice and oily. It's one thing I love about these Talisker special releases. They're always really rich and oily, creamy, silky on the mouthfeel. Water definitely did not help that.
Yeah, this took it down. This took it down with water, almost like the new Talisker 25, where it's so insubstantial. Which, I just told you wrong. I was like, hey, it's young whiskey, it's 55%. It should be able to handle water. It did not.
No,
I prefer Talisker higher ABV.
I agree. Talisker really needs that punchiness because it helps accentuate that rich, oily mouthfeel, which is what I think Talisker excels at.
I agree.
It's one of the reasons I like the brand.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right, Mike, where you at on the score?
With water, I was higher. With water, I was pretty enthused about what I was experiencing here. It did not handle water well, at least on the palate. I'm at an 84 out of 100 on this one. There are some good things here. There are just not enough of them.
Yeah, I'm at an 82, Mike. I want to like this.
I was being harsh.
I want to like this more than I do because it does a few things really well. Mouthfeel, yes. Upfront sweetness, richness, I like it. I don't hate the tired oak cask because I think they add something, they make the finish linger and last, but they're just not doing it for me. And then while I do think, the lightly peated thing is maybe a little overblown, to me this is not that much less peated than a regular Talisker 10 like you kind of alluded to. But it's still kind of lacking a little bit.
Yeah, it's a Diageo special release. They can do whatever they want. They chose to do this. Maybe to show another side of the distillery. They've gotten young the last couple of years. Now, we know that Talisker has some great whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
Like with all the Diageo special releases, man, sometimes they're hits and sometimes they're misses, and you just don't know what's coming. Mm-hmm. Part of it, too, with my disappointment with this is I've had two really good Talisker Diageos, the first 8, the 15, and then I would stack this with the 2 later 8-year-olds as disappointments.
I mean, the rum was really disappointing. This is better than that.
Agreed. It's better than both the other 8s.
The super peated one, I might drink that before this one.
I'll drink this one first.
I mean, this one's a little more sophisticated. It's a little more refined. Mm-hmm. The other one's got a punchiness that I like about it.
Yeah, if you just want to get to the point.
Like, it does what I kind of want it to do a little more. This is cloying. It's confusing. I think that's actually, that's what it is, Mike. This is a confusing whiskey for me. It starts to go in that sweet, rich, then it brings in the bitter, like oak, some sourness, and then it hits you with kind of like a enough peat, but not enough peat. You know, I was like, I don't know where it's trying to go.
Yeah, you and I disagreed pretty hard on this one, but our score was about the same. You know, we're kind of picking up different things, but we're equally as disappointed.
Well, but I think that's kind of part. I think that comes because it's a jarring, disjointed whiskey. So what you're picking up kind of really is going to be very out there because it's just not a well constructed whiskey.
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
The way they blended this together, I think they had casks they weren't sure what to do with. They're just like, yeah, let's just try them all together.
Too many cooks in the kitchen is what it feels like to me, Dustin. Yeah. We'll keep trying them. We are a fan of the distillery. We're a fan of Diageo special releases. I know it's quality whiskey. I just don't know if I'll like it.
Well, Talisker seems to be the one that they haven't jacked the prices up beyond like comprehension.
Well, they're always young whiskeys too. So
yeah, but let me tell you. I mean, you saw this year the 1,270.
They're not afraid to ask for $2 for young whiskey.
Yeah,
not around
the
here.
12-year Klein leash, $230.
Not afraid to ask for $2. You got to ask for it.
This is $120.
You got to ask for the sale. Diageo will ask Americans like 12-year-old whiskey, 11-year-old whiskey, 200 is too much, 250 is too much. We'll find out.
They love to find out like how much is too much. You're right.
Yeah, they don't leave a lot of money on the table.
No, there's no secondary for these things.
It's great marketing. I'm a little bit jealous. All right, if you guys had a chance to try this one, let us know what you guys think. Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy light drinking.
See you next time.